Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another walk around. This time I'm joined by the new Kia Sorento hybrid. So as always, I will take you around the car, talk you through the specification and give you my first impressions. Now if I cough or I sound a little bit croaky, I do apologise. I am getting over an illness. Don't worry, it wasn't COVID. I've had some kind of throat infection. Anyway, that aside, onto the car. So the new Kia Sorento is available in 3 trim levels, 2, 3 and 4. The starting price is £39,710. The car you see before you is the range topping 4, which would normally start from £47,960, but this car has got the mineral blue paintwork, which is exclusive for the hybrid. Therefore, the car you see before you is actually £48,620. Excuse me. Some of you may gasp and think, my word Aaron, that is a lot of money for a Kia, but this car is packed with features, absolutely crammed. So it is a good thing. It is a big car because it needs all the space just for the tech alone. In fact, when this car was launched, Kia dubbed this as the most high-tech car it has ever made. Now, there's a good chance that statement is now obsolete because the EV6 is here, and I would imagine that is more full of tech. But let's not take anything away from the Sorento because it has a lot of features. Now, before I go through the specification, I just want to draw your attention to the exterior. I think this car looks fantastic. It looks muscular, it's full of purpose, and it looks pretty aggressive. A really smart looking car, and it definitely looks more aggressive compared to its predecessor. Now, in regard to dimensions, it isn't actually that different from the last model. The only real major difference is that the wheelbase is 35mm longer. That of course means more space inside for occupants. Now, to go through the specification, on the exterior I've got 19-inch alloys, LED lights at the front, keyless entry, roof rails, privacy glass, and at the back I've got more LED lights. I've got a power tailgate as well, so whilst I'm here I may as well show you the boot. There we go. This car, in case you don't know, is a 7-seater, but for the sake of this video, the rear seats are currently down. Now, if you were to have the rear seats up, I will cut to a clip where you can see that. The capacity of the boot is 179 litres, which is about the same as a Fiat 500. Now, one good thing about the design of this car is that despite the space needed for the battery for this car, which is a 1.49 kilowatt hour battery, if I'm not mistaken, the way how this car has been designed, you lose very minimal space compared to the diesel. For those of you that don't know, the Sorento is available as a diesel as well, which is a little bit surprising because diesel is being phased out, but Kia is sticking with it for the Sorento. There is also a plug-in hybrid available as well, which makes use of a 1.6 litre petrol, much like this car. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. I was talking about the boot space. Now, if you have it in 5-seater mode, you will get 608 litres, which is again a little bit smaller compared to the diesel, but not by a great amount. Or you can go the whole hog and have it in 2-seater mode, and then you'll get almost 2,000 litres. So very handy if you want to do a dump run, or perhaps you want to have a splurge at IKEA, for example. In the boot, you do get a 12-volt socket, which is quite handy if I just zoom in. And the rear passengers have got a USB port, one either side, as well as controls for the climate, which is really good. Folding down the middle row of seats is a doddle because you have 2 buttons here. Press them like so, and down they go. Very, very easy indeed. The rear passengers also have a cup holder each, as well as a bit of storage as well. Now, if you want to keep your items private, you do of course have this retractable parcel shelf, like so. Pop that away like that. And let's close the boot down. We'll just quickly pop the middle seats back up. There we go. Pretty easy. I go around to the other side just very quickly. Excuse me. And that is pretty easy to do with one hand. So if you've got your hands full with the children or the dogs or whatever, it shouldn't be too much of a hassle. The middle seats also recline as well, which is a bit difficult to do when I'm holding the camera at the same time. Let me quickly go around and do the other side. Actually, before I do this side, to get access to the rear seats, again, it is very easy. Kia has been very thoughtful with this car. Press that button there, and there we go. The seat slides forward, giving you better access to the rear. Speaking of which, there's a grab handle just here, so getting into the rear seats should be easier and less of a faff. Let's recline that seat like so. One thing I don't think I've mentioned, another handy feature, I think it's quite cool. You may have spotted there's no rear wiper. There is, but it is hidden under the rear spoiler. So it's actually there where my hand is, you can't see it. A very small thing, but I quite like that, quite clever. Let me take you onto the interior, which isn't full of character, but it is a very nice place to be. Pretty much everything you touch in here has got a nice feeling to it. As standard on the 4, you get these lovely Nappa leather seats, the front of which are heated, and the outer seats on the middle row, they are also heated. A nice feature. The driver's seat is electronically adjustable with 2 memory functions. Right, hopefully I don't drag mud into the car, but let me step in and I can show you more of the interior. Close the door like so. Just take you off my little tripod. So yes, the inside is a nice place to be. You've got nice quality feeling materials used throughout. And in all honesty, you do have to search hard to find materials that feel cheap and nasty. In fact, there are some that feel, even that feels pretty good quality. I have genuinely struggled to find something in here that feels not so pleasant to the touch. Let me hit the ignition like so. So as standard, you get a Kias, they love to bleep and bong. As standard, you get the 12.3-inch digital display, which is new for the Sorento. And I've also got a 10.25-inch touchscreen. One thing I like about the interior is, yes, okay, these buttons, well, I say buttons, they are touch sensitive, but you get proper buttons for the climate control. And many of my regular viewers will know that is a big thing for me. Yes, okay, some of them are touch sensitive, but not all of them are. And you have a nice button that says off. Very nice and simplistic. No mucking about, no gimmicks, just, yeah, I like that. The touchscreen is very nice to look at. You've got lots of features, and you've got some quite handy features. So, for example, you've got valet mode, so it's valet mode, I should say. You've got passenger talk. So, for example, the front microphone will pick up the driver's voice and play it through the rear speakers. Now, I've got that one in the rear, so it's a bit difficult to test. But for example, I could say, let's say the kids are acting up, you can go, "Oi, pack it in!" And then, yeah, see, for example, I can't hear anything happening in the back, so.
Participating restaurants until the 16th of November.
Problem is, I don't want to do that because I've got the radio on. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Ignore me. And you've got some other quite handy features. You may call it a bit gimmicky, but if I go, where are we? Media, sounds of nature. And look, I could have a lively forest. Ocean waves. A rainy day. An open air cafe. Or a warm fireplace, which is very welcome on this cold, rather wintry day. but some of you may think that's a bit of a gimmick. Let's go to media sources. Make sure it's turned down so there's no copyright. I've got heated, well, I've already mentioned the heated seats, haven't I? But they're also ventilated as well. You've got a little toggle switch down here. That's for your heated seats. That's for the ventilation. So obviously you've got blue for cold and kind of orange for hot. Makes perfect sense. Rotary dial here. Obviously that's for your drive, neutral and reverse, and P for park. Down here I've got another rotary dial, but this one's for your driving modes. So I can either have Eco, Sport or Smart. Smart is basically an auto mode that will adapt to the way how you're driving, but hit the dial down and you get terrain. All of a sudden I've got a choice of snow, mud or sand. This car does of course have all-wheel drive, but I doubt those features are going to be used that often, let's be honest. I've got a heated steering wheel as well. And if I pop it into reverse, you will see I've got a reversing camera, I've got front and rear sensors, as well as the 360 monitor as well. Speaking of monitors, this has got something called the blind spot view monitor, if I've got the name right. Really handy. Some may argue it isn't really needed, but if I were to indicate, look at that. All of a sudden, on the, oh, it's gone. I think it's, there we go. All of a sudden, I've got a camera on the outside of the car that shows my blind spot, and if I were to indicate right, I get one that side. Some may argue you don't need that, but I think that's pretty mind-blowing. It's just fantastic. Like I say, this car is crammed with technology, so much tech, so much so it's difficult to go through it all in one video. I've also got a Bose sound system, so you may have spotted the Bose logo on the touchscreen, and also down there. I know that bonging is probably getting annoying, so I will put it back into park. One thing about Kias, as I said earlier, they do like to bleep and bong and make all manner of different noises, just to remind you of that you're still breathing. In regards to practicality, as you would expect from a family SUV, there is plenty of it. The door bins aren't quite as big as I perhaps would have liked, so that bottle is 500 millilitres, but if you had a litre bottle, I don't think it would fit in. You do have a bit of space left over for a few snacks for a road trip, but yeah, I do find the size of the door bins just a tad disappointing. You've got wireless phone charging as standard, and no less than 3 USB ports. 2 cup holders in the middle, pretty standard. Little slot here where perhaps you can pop the key. You've got a decent amount of storage underneath the centre armrest, with a tray for loose items such as change perhaps, and plenty of space underneath. The glove box is pretty decent and is lined with fabric as well, which is a nice touch. I like that. There's no sunglasses holder, which is a bit disappointing, but isn't the end of the world. You may have spotted though, I do have a panoramic roof as standard, so that is a nice touch. You do have a blind which comes across like so. If you fancy shutting the world out, but as you can see, excuse me, as you can see, there is black roof lining. Therefore, really and truly, I think it's much better to have it open so you can let some natural light flood into the cabin. Oh, I've actually opened the roof up as well. I must have pulled it for too long. That's nice to let some autumn air into the car, but no. What's the blind doing? Blind, go away, I don't want you blind. Ah! What's going on? It's gone crazy. No, no, I don't want the blind. No, no. There we go. I don't know what happened there. That's never happened to me before. The car just kind of had a bit of a funny moment. To be fair, it could have been the operator, not the car, but when I did that, I did the same thing I did the other day, and it didn't do that. So, anyway, moving swiftly on. Oh, what's that? I've just spotted that. Ah. Sorry, those buttons just caught my eye. Just wondering what they were, but it's clearly for the adjustment. Right. Anything else to go through with you on in the front? No. Well, you do have a button for the hill descent, but again, I doubt that's a feature you're really going to need in a car like this. Right, let me take you into the middle row of seats. More beeps from the car. Yes, thank you, Kia. So as always, the driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2", so I am of course a taller guy, although I've just realised when I've hit the ignition, it's brought the seat backwards, so that isn't actually in my driving position. So let me just pop the ignition back on. There we go. That way it's actually set for my height, so it's more accurate. As you can hopefully see, I've got a lot of space to step into, so let me do so right now. I've got plenty of knee room and loads of leg room. I can just about fits my feet in under the seat in front of me, so yes, plenty of space to relax. However, this car does of course have a panoramic roof, which often will eat into headroom. So how will I do? Will I be crushed? The answer is no. Granted, I haven't got loads of headroom, but I've got enough and I don't feel cramped. And thankfully, because of the panoramic roof, there's a nice airy feeling in here. Yes, you have got the black roof lining, but it doesn't feel dingy. The windows are of a good size as well. Speaking of the windows, as standard, again, a really clever, thoughtful touch. You get integrated blinds, so you can hook it on like so, and there we go. Just little things like that. Just fantastic, especially when you bear in mind this is a family car. Just, you know, Kia are definitely thinking about their consumers. You've got a cup holder here, also a space where you can pop a bottle there. That's handy. Got the button for the heated seat. Of course, you get mat pockets, a hook where you can hang up an item of clothing, and down here you've got a USB port as well as a 12-volt socket. Plus, you've also got the vents for the climate control. One good thing about the Sorento, well, there's many good things about this car, but the transmission tunnel is very, very minimal. So if you must have someone sat in the middle seat, they won't have to struggle for leg room, or they won't have a struggle finding somewhere to put their feet. You've also got USB ports in the seats. I've just thought I'd point those out. So yeah, plenty of USB ports. You've got a centre armrest for better comfort. That's really nice and padded. And you've got 3 cup holders, 2 standard and 1 for an energy drink. Anything else to report in the rear? In case I haven't mentioned it, the middle seats do. Sorry, anything? I just said anything else to mention for the rear, didn't I? I'm so used to testing 5-seaters. Anyway, in the middle row of seats, you can slide them forwards and backwards, and they slide 45 millimeters more compared to the last Sorento. At this point, I would show you the rear seats, but of course I can't because I've got stuff in the boot. But I will cut to a clip where you can see the rear seats if I haven't done so in this video already. You can also recline the middle row of seats, and I'm sure it goes without mentioning, but you do get ISOFIX points. Granted, this has been quite a long video, a bit longer than my usual walkarounds, but there is a lot to speak about on this car. Yes, I know. Yes, thank you. Be quiet. So, let's talk about the powertrain. This is of course a hybrid, therefore you get an engine as well as an electric motor. The two combined offer 230 horsepower along with 360 Newton meters of torque. If you're wondering, the engine is 1.6 litre petrol, turbocharged of course. Now you can have a 2.2 litre diesel, or you can have a plug-in hybrid. Now I'm sure you're more concerned about performance, more concerned about fuel economy I should say. So on a combined run, because this has the larger alloys, Kia states that you can expect up to 38.2 miles to the gallon. And in regard to CO2 emissions, this car emits 169 grams per kilometre, meaning for the first year of VED, you'll be required to pay £545. In regard to performance, which I'm sure isn't too much of a concern for you, this car, for what it is quite sprightly. You'll hit 60 miles per hour in 8.7 seconds, and the top speed is 119 miles per hour. And there we have it, guys, the Kia Sorento hybrid. Let's just close the bonnet down like so. Very easy to do. So if you have any questions about the car, please drop a question in the comment section below and I will answer as quickly as I can and to the best of my ability. Let me give you one more look around the car. Why not? It is a very handsome car. Definitely a looker. And this mineral blue paintwork is fantastic. So guys, I do hope you have enjoyed this video or found it useful. If so, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.